What is going on YouTube? Today, an article. Where is this article from? But anyway, I don't know where it's from. It says Canada's Trudeau apologizes after ex-Nazi mistakenly praised. Story by WWII.com. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau apologized on Wednesday after lawmakers publicly celebrated a man who fought alongside the Nazis during an address by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky last week. Yaroslav Honka, a 98-year-old Ukrainian veteran, received two standing ovations. However, it emerged later that Honka had served in one of Adolf Hitler's Waffen SS during the World War II. I'd like to present unreserved apologies for what took place on Friday and to President Zelensky and the Ukrainian delegation for the position they were put in. For all of us who were present, Trudeau said, to have unknowingly recognized this individual was a terrible mistake and a violation of the memory of those who suffered grievously at the hands of the Nazi regime. Trudeau said the Speaker of the House of Commons, Anthony Rota, who resigned Tuesday, was solely responsible for the invitation and recognition, but added it was a mistake that has deeply embarrassed Parliament in Canada. That public recognition has caused pain to individuals and communities, including the Jewish community in Canada and around the world, Rota said on Tuesday. Rota had publicly lauded Honka during the session, calling him a war hero. Let's see if we could get into this video they got.
I will address the House in front of all Canadians, in front of Jewish people here and around the world, and Ukrainians, to offer Parliament's unreserved apologies for what happened on Friday. The Speaker was solely responsible for the invitation and recognition of this man and has wholly accepted that responsibility and stepped down. This was a mistake that has deeply embarrassed Parliament and Canada. All of us who were in this House on Friday regret deeply having stood and clapped, even though we did so unaware of the context. It was a horrendous violation of the memory of the millions of people who died.
I'm not the smartest person in the world. I haven't been in school for a little while. But prior to hearing the story, I heard about someone just briefly going over it. And the way that person explained it, that Trudeau invited a World War II veteran that fought against the Russians. World War II, he wasn't an American citizen. I know the United States was involved in World War II, but I believe we were somewhat allies with Russia during World War II. So, who would that leave? He wasn't Japanese. Japan was on the Axis side. So that would leave more than likely a German. So, do you think it was an accident? Or it was just something that, I don't know, could be an accident, but a little research on the guy would tell him a lot, but I guess they just invite anybody.
In the Holocaust, and it was deeply, deeply painful for Jewish people. It also hurt Polish people, Roma people, 2S LGBTQI+ people, disabled people, racialized people, and the many millions who were targeted by the Nazi genocide. Every year, there are fewer and fewer Holocaust survivors to share firsthand the horrors of what they experienced, and it is therefore incumbent upon us all to ensure that no one ever forgets what happened. I also want to reiterate how deeply sorry Canada is for the situation this put President Zelensky and the Ukrainian delegation in. It is extremely troubling to think that this egregious error is being politicized by Russia and its supporters to provide false propaganda about what Ukraine is fighting for. Friday's
I do believe seen an article of translation of what Putin was saying about Ukraine, that after World War II, a lot of the Nazis went to Ukraine as a stronghold, one of the places, and that the Russians of today were actually fighting new generational Nazis, but I'm not over there. That's what he says.
joint session was about what Canada stands for, about our steadfast support of Ukraine's fight against Putin's brutality, lies, and violence. It was a moment to celebrate and acknowledge the sacrifices of Ukrainians as they fight for their democracy, their freedom, their language and culture, and for peace. This is the side Canada was on in World War II. This is the side we are on today.
Now you got me interested in the actual celebratory video. Let's see if they have it on YouTube real quick. I won't try to take up too much of your time on this video.
Keep It Quilted
Sorry,
means you
I do
keep
not
it the
have
best.
premium, but
3 layers of
got it.
plush comfort you can see and feel.
The federal liberals under attack from opposition parties and Jewish groups after a Ukrainian veteran who served in a Nazi military unit in World War II wasn't just invited to hear Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky speak in Parliament on Friday, but received a standing ovation from all sides of the House of Commons. To dive into this latest political fiasco, Mackenzie Ray joins us from Ottawa. Mackenzie, we appreciate this. So let's go back a moment. How did this happen, and what has been the reaction so far?
Yeah, what a shocking story. The House of Commons Speaker, Anthony Rota, was the one who invited Yaroslav Hunka, who was a former Ukrainian veteran who fought in a Nazi brigade back in World War II. And Mr. Rota not only invited him, but kind of gave him some praise. Here's what he had to say in his speech in the House of Commons with Mr. Zelensky, the Prime Minister, and all other MPs in attendance.
We have here in the chamber today Ukrainian Canadian world veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the troops today, even at his age of 98.
Now, Mr. Rota's office says that he did not know the Nazi-linked past of Mr. Hunka when he was invited. He put out a statement saying, "No one, including my fellow parliamentarians and the Ukraine delegation, was aware of my intentions or of my remarks before I delivered them. I accept full responsibility for my actions." I asked Mr. Rota's office what accepting full responsibility means, if he's going to be resigning as Speaker. No word on that. The Prime Minister's office also said that he and his staff did not know that Mr. Hunka was going to be in attendance, nor did they know about his past associations with the Nazi Brigade back in World War II. Statement from his office saying no advance notice was provided to the Prime Minister's office nor the Ukraine delegation about the invitation or the recognition. The Speaker had his own allotment of guest seating, which were determined by the Speaker and his office alone. That is not unusual to have these. Speaker having his own gallery. I was in the gallery during the speech, and there were a number of individuals there, but obviously very embarrassing for the Speaker, the Prime Minister, and for Mr. Zelensky as well. We've heard from a number of Jewish groups, all outraged by the fact that Mr. Hunka was in the gallery and have cheered by many parliamentarians. Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader, says that there's absolutely no way that the Prime Minister did not know about this, saying that protocol officials from either Global Affairs or the Privy Council office would have known about this.
That's what I was saying earlier. Somebody had to know.
Singh, the governing partner for the Liberals, says he'll be bringing it up with the government, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more reaction about this when the House of Commons starts back up today at 11 a.m.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, the news obviously...
Not to cut it off, but let me fact check myself on what I said earlier about the Axis and the Allies. Axis powers in World War II. Germany, Italy, Japan. Yeah, like I said, it is Germany, Italy, Japan. And you know he wasn't Japanese. Could have passed for Italian, but I don't know. So that leaves two to guess from when they stated that he fought against the Russians in World War II. Yeah, that was just a interesting article I ran across, but